want to make sugar daddy of all the people in Nigeria. I don't go to people that will help my life, people that will help me be a better person somehow, people that will provide for me financially. I'm doing sugar daddy with someone that was benefiting directly for me financially. While I was doing my TikTok thing, I was also sustaining the family. Most of the things they buy in the house, most of the things they use in the house, I was sustaining them from that money. Then the daddy later joined in the TikTok stuff. The money that was making from the daddy's TikTok that he was doing, most of it was going to the wife. Some of it was going to daddy. They were solving their family problem. She cannot say she did not use TikTok money to pay school fees at some point. From the TikTok I was doing with daddy. She has never for one day come and show her face on that TikTok. I was the one running the TikTok account with daddy. She cannot say she has not used the money from TikTok to put food on their table. She cannot say they did not use money from the TikTok money to do things that would benefit their family. While I was running her TikTok account, I was running daddy's TikTok account, and I was running my account. At some point, I was choked. I had to hand over her own TikTok account to her and tell her, okay, this is how to go about it. Let me focus on myself and focus on daddy. She now said, okay, but sometimes try to carry me along. I said, okay, no problem. I'll be carrying you along. Like when we're doing starting videos, you will join us. You go to the page, you see even on daddy's page, some video is 3 of us, some video is just me and daddy, and some video is me and her. You know, so things were going quite smooth. There was no reason for malice. There was no confusion anywhere. In fact, at some point, I was more closer to her than I was with daddy. Because there are certain conversations that I and her have that I have with her that I cannot have with daddy. So while the issue between herself and daddy was going on, at some point she started bringing up issue of daddy selling his property, some of his property he had, so that they can be able to fit some bills, as they were not meeting up with bills. So at that point, daddy was so, I don't know, for some reason he was unwilling to sell property. Maybe he was hoping that a job would come along, something somewhere that things will work out eventually, you know. And also when we came back, daddy complained about the cars he left in the house, that all the cars were sold and none of them were remitted to him. In fact, that was the first issue they had in the house then. He was asking about the cars, what happened to all the cars, that all the cars were sold and none of the money, he made it quite an issue, that none of the money was remitted to him. With that, I cannot say much about, because she's the only one that knows what happened to the car. I'm only making reference to it because even in Daddy Free's life, the first time she called me out, the first time anybody in this life ever called me out, was that she was the first person that ever called me out in this life. I've never had to have issue with anybody on social space. So the first time anything like that happened was when she came out and said, oh, this is, I'll trace it back. That's why I'm starting this whole story from the beginning, so that I'll link it up to how we got to this place. Daddy came out and also made reference to that, his cars that were missing on Daddy Free's life. So I'm sure it's something that some people, if you watch the video, you'll be familiar with. So fast forward to while we were in the house and they were having their issues, and then my ex-husband said he wanted to visit Nigeria. I said, okay, fine. So fast forward to when I rented my house and I moved into my house with my family were in the house. My husband later came and joined us in the house. So after I moved, when my ex-husband came, he wanted to see daddy. Around that period, as soon as I left the house, it wasn't long after I left the house, one day she called me. She was crying on the phone that daddy said he wants to leave again, that she's so scared because the last time he left for about over 2 years, and now he wants to leave again, that he doesn't want to stay in the house, that he's probably running away from responsibility and all that. And daddy that I know as of that time, he was also complaining that he's financially not okay, that staying in the house doing nothing does not suit him. So he was trying to, like he said, he wanted to go out and see if he can get job outside, maybe in Abuja, go back to Abuja or go somewhere else apart from Lagos, where he can actually get help or something. So daddy later moved out of the house. He went to somewhere in Ibafo. I've never been to that place before until when my ex-husband came and he wanted to see daddy. We drove all the way, myself, my ex-husband, we drove all the way to Ibafo. When we went there was a building, and there was one guy, I don't want to mention his name, there was one guy that was there, that he was living with that guy, and there were so many people again in that house. I was wondering why daddy had to leave his house to go and stay in that kind of place, in that place. So daddy said that place was preferable for him to stay. I could remember vividly that the wife was also trying to reach out to the said guy, and certain times she would say when she reached out to him, he was not responsive well and all of that. They were having some issues and all of that. So daddy was there in Ibafo for a very long period of time, and that guy was taking care of him in Ibafo for a very long period of time. So when I came back, when I got to Ibafo, I called her, I said, this is where daddy is staying. No, that are you not going to do something about it? At least let him come back. That place, I don't think is very comfortable for him. So she said, that if he wants to move her, she cannot stop an adult from going to where he wants to stay, since his own house is not comfortable for him to stay anymore. According to her, he was running away from responsibility and stuff. They both had different view. According to daddy, there was no money and he was trying to go and look for other means of getting money. So, and I said, okay, we are coming back, myself and my ex-husband and everything, we are coming back to Lagos, because Ibafo is almost outside the outskirts of Lagos. So she pleaded with me that day. She said, "If can we bring him back?" I said, the way I saw him, I don't think he's willing to come back. In fact, he was saying he's going to stay there for about 3 months and later go to Abuja. That's his plan. That they were working on something. The guy they were working on something, on one program that could likely bring him money. I had faith that whatever it is they're working on will likely bring him money. So I said, okay. So when we came back, I had a conversation with her. I could remember vividly then. That was the first time she pleaded with me. She said, look, prior to when I came back, that daddy has left the house severally in a very lengthy period of time since he stopped getting jobs in